Frankly, it's given the impression so far of being sycophantic, of just cuddling up to him, and he clearly shows no respect for that whatever. We should treat him in the same way as we would treat
Theresa May has taken him on, Sir Vince, over a number of issues, hasn't she?
Well, she has spoken back when he directly tried to intervene to support a militant racist organisation in Britain, and that was the right thing to do. And I hope she will be equally robust about the many other ways he's trashing the system on which we depend for a civilized world. We should treat him in the same way that we treat a visit from President Putin. You know, a working visit, of course you need to talk to these people, but he's not a friend of this country, and we should cease to regard him as one.
Sir Vince Cable, thank you very much, the Liberal Democrat leader. And joining me now is Professor Inderjeet Parmar from City University London. Vince Cable has just said that Donald Trump isn't a friend of this country and should be treated as such. What do you make of that?
Well, I think whether he's a personal friend or not, the issue is that the United States and the UK have had a very strong relationship all the way from at least 1941, embedded in a number of big relationships like the UN, NATO and so on. So they're very strong allies. The United States leader obviously has a number of issues to do with his ideology and his politics and his ideas about American identity, with which Theresa May has taken issue, and others have as well, and that has caused a lot of protests. But in regard to a relationship between the two countries, that is a very strong and long-standing one.
And it's bigger than any individuals who happen to be holding office at any time.
Absolutely, but I think what makes this one a bit different is that there has been for a while now sort of a change in the international system and a change in the character of the international order. And I think that has started with previous presidents and a changing kind of structure of world power. And I think Trump has come in and is exacerbating some of those changes and basically pushing them in particular kinds of directions where increasing levels of nationalism are beginning to emerge right across the world, including in Europe.
And how much do you think that tone that he has set is actually causing an impact in other countries, that they're adopting it too?
I think that, the tone obviously has an effect because it becomes a bit more acceptable if the leader of the free world speaks in a particular kind of way. But I think if you look at the substance of the communique signed at the NATO meetings that Trump has signed, then you can see that there's actually very far-reaching plans to collaborate and cooperate within NATO, right across the region militarily. So that part is very, very strong still.
Professor Parmar, for the moment, thank you very much. Do stay with us, though. Yes, and of course you're seeing the tensions between those who support Trump and those who don't. That will be clearest on the streets of London and in other parts of the UK tomorrow when the main protests are planned. You're watching BBC News. And there'll be much more from here at Regent's Park. President Trump still at the residence of the US ambassador at the moment before going to Blenheim Palace this evening. But right now let's take a pause and look at the weather forecast with Ben Ridge.
Anita, thank you. A very good afternoon to you. Our weather certainly has turned a little more mixed over the last few days. We've certainly got more cloud on the scene. There has been a little bit of rain. This is how it looked for a weather watcher in Stornoway just a little earlier this afternoon. A lot of cloud in the sky. There was some sunshine to be found, though, in Dorset. But where we've had the sunniest skies today, we've also started to trigger some showers across parts of the southwest of England, into Wales, parts of northwest England as well. And as we go on through what's left of the afternoon, we'll continue to see the odd heavy shower, perhaps the odd one further east as well. If you catch one, you will know about it, but most places will stay dry. A few of those showers then continue into the evening. Most places dry overnight, with some clear spells, some slightly misty, murky conditions in places as well, and temperatures between 13 and 16 degrees, so not a cold night by any stretch of the imagination. Tomorrow, quite a cloudy start, a little bit murky in places, then the cloud will tend to break up and we'll see some sunny spells, but like today, we're going to trigger off some showers, and some of these really will mean business across parts of southwest Scotland and particularly northwest England. Some really heavy, slow-moving showers. Notice the wind speeds, very, very light winds, so nothing to push the showers along across parts of Wales, into the West Country, parts of southern England. Some of these showers are really heavy with some hail and some thunder thrown in for good measure. If you catch one of these downpours, could give a lot of rain in a short space of time, perhaps some disruption, perhaps some poor travelling conditions, but many places will avoid those showers. Many places will stay dry, and in the sunshine it will feel warm. Now, talking about warm, Saturday bringing lots of sunshine across England and Wales, some into eastern Scotland as well. And where we have those sunnier skies on Saturday, temperatures will respond back up into the high 20s across the southeast. Something different for Northern Ireland and northwest Scotland. Thicker cloud, the odd splash of rain, not a write-off, but a little bit on the damp side for many. That's because we have some weather fronts in close proximity, and these will just continue to wriggle around as we get on into Sunday. But ahead of those weather fronts, we're going to be drawing some very warm air up from the south. So temperatures towards the south and the east continuing to climb on Sunday. A lot of hot sunshine to be had in southern and eastern areas. Just a small chance of a rogue shower. For Northern Ireland, western Scotland here, again more cloud, bit of damp weather, and as you can see from the lighter colours, something a little bit cooler. But down towards the southeast, yes, we could see temperatures of 29 or 30 degrees. So to sum things up this weekend, there will be some hot sunshine, a few showers around, but always a little cooler with some damp weather at times towards the northwest.
You're very funny.
I don't want to say bad things.
You're stirring things up. I don't think it should be allowed in.
Sorry.
Pity he isn't negotiating Brexit for us.
American people's opinion matters, that's who they chose.
Is he coming to the UK?
Follow every step of President Trump's first official visit to the UK today on the BBC News Channel.
Do you think anything has ever been seen quite like this before?
It's been a buzz around town, hasn't it, for 2 or 3 days?
It is a wonderful ground. Such a throwback.
The picture's pretty alright, actually. It's like a work of art all of its own.
We've so far been quite surprised by all the wickets that we've seen.
Sun's out, blue sky, nice day for batting.
Instant cricket from the BBC. Available now on the BBC Sport app and website.
With BBC News, I'm Martine Croxall. The headlines. Donald Trump has arrived in central London in his first visit to the UK since he became the US president. He'll meet Theresa May later today and have tea with the Queen at Windsor Castle tomorrow. Extra security has been put in place across the UK for President Trump's visit, with thousands of protesters expected to turn out for demonstrations in London and Glasgow. The government has published its blueprint for UK relations with the EU. The document says freedom of movement will end, but suggests EU citizens would be allowed to come to the UK without visas to do paid work in clearly defined circumstances. More than 26 million people watched last night's broadcast of the World Cup semi-final in Russia. England scored early in the game but were defeated by Croatia 2-1 after extra time. Time for a look at all the sports news now with Will Perry. Will.
Hello, Marty. Good afternoon to you. We'll start with this big breaking news that Chelsea are set to part company with their manager Antonio Conte this afternoon. They've refused to comment on it so far, but it's understood that the Napoli boss and fellow Italian Maurizio Sarri will replace him and is edging closer to signing a deal. Conte was appointed as Chelsea boss in the summer of 2016, leaving his role as Italy's head coach back then to take the job at Stamford Bridge. He led the club to the Premier League title in his first season in charge. It was all going so well, wasn't it? Things went wrong last season on and off the pitch, with the team finishing 5th in the Premier League. Now, the World Cup dream may be over for England, but their manager Gareth Southgate says they can come home after the third place playoff match against Belgium with their heads held high, and he believes they've set a new benchmark. Defender Kyle Walker has taken to social media today. He says England brought the nation together by reaching the semi-finals and proved their critics wrong in the process. No one really thought this team would get as far as they did they? But England had the second youngest squad at the World Cup. They exceeded expectations to reach the last four, only for the third time in their history after 1996 and 1990. Walker was one of many England players praising the squad on social media. He says he felt the support from the fans over the last month and that it was great to have that in Russia for the team, which united them just like it did the country. The man in charge, there he is in his waistcoat, Gareth Southgate, is coming for plenty of praise too for his leadership and reconnecting the country with the team. Former England women's defender Alex Scott was in Russia. She thinks these players coming through the ranks with Southgate, who previously managed them with the under-21s, has made all the difference.
The England team has become one team. It's not just the senior team. When the women's team's there, we're mixing with the men's team. When the youth team's there, they're mixing. You see a pathway, and that gives you inspiration that, okay, I want to make it to the top. There is a new DNA for fans to get excited by the football that you play, by the people, investing in people as well, that reconnection with fans. That's what this England team is all about now. St George's has allowed that team bonding element to connect as people as well, which is so important because it then gives the trust to Gareth Southgate, that the players have the trust in the manager and the manager has trust in his players.
From the World Cup, live to Wimbledon, John Watson is there for us. And John, she has done it again. She is a machine, Serena Williams, into yet another Wimbledon final.
Yeah, well, let's just stop and marvel at the achievements of Serena Williams for just one moment into a 10th Wimbledon final, which is nothing short of miraculous when you consider that this is just her 4th tournament back since the birth of her first child and the health complications which followed. She came through in the second semi-final today out on centre court against Julia Gerges of Germany, who's rattled down more aces than anyone else in the women's draw in this tournament, but she met her match in Serena Williams, as so many often do, as Serena wrapped it up 6-2 in the first set and then 6-4 in the second. Remember, 23 Grand Slam titles to Serena's name. She is chasing a 24th here at these Wimbledon Championships, which would see her draw level with the all-time record set in the pre-Open era by Margaret Court. It means that she will face Angelique Kerber in the final on Saturday.